Hi, I am Sam Santosh, founder and chairman of Cygenome Labs and the managing trustee of Cygenome Research Foundation. Cygenome Labs is a genomics incubator, the first genomics incubator in India, created in 2009, and we incubated and spun off companies like MedGenome, AgriGenome, Saxon Life Sciences and MagGenome over the last 12 years. Cygenome Research Foundation is a non-profit foundation that has been set up from 2010 to promote science, education and research in India. Just a few weeks back, our Honorable Prime Minister had announced that how importance of bioeconomy for India. We have to really understand the various pieces that goes into the bioeconomy, or that what constitute the bioeconomy. The important sections are biopharma, medical diagnostics and medical devices, the contract research services and different sectors like that. Soon after the Prime Minister's announcement, there was a very good report that came from BIRAC and ABLE that showed the current sector-wise split up of the bioeconomy. Current bioeconomy is standing at about $80 billion annually. So it is not India alone. All the larger countries in the world have been paying serious attention to how to build their bioeconomy. In fact, China has been at the lead over the last 10 years, significantly building up various sections of their bioeconomy. The United States has also been very active, but they have been covering many sectors. But just 2 days back, the US President Biden has announced their very clear roadmap on how their bioeconomy and biotechnology will build up the next future of America. So let us see, or let us examine what are the technologies and the developments in science that will drive the bioeconomy globally and in India. Over the last 10-12 years, we witnessed, and I also was part of that, in creating the genomics revolution, when one new technology of DNA sequencing created a huge growth in various sectors of the bioeconomy, whether it is diagnostics, a new drug discovery, or even understanding our evolution. So in various areas like that, genomics was significant in letting our economy grow, creating jobs and also solving many of the problems, many of the unsolved diseases and many new treatments and many new diagnostics which could really help humanity. So now there are other technologies also which are growing very fast. For example, one is proteomics and high-plex proteomics. Proteomics has been there for a long time, even before genomics, through mass specs, and it had provided a lot of information for biologists and scientists to understand the proteins created by organisms. But there was challenges in mass specs because you could only look at the most commonly available proteins, and many of the proteins are produced by the human body or any organism or in a cell in very small quantities. So those are typically very difficult to understand and categorize or quantify in old technologies. But new technologies now coming up with global companies like Olink or SomaLogic are making this through screening of these proteins through an approach called high-plex proteomics is going to make a big change, and maybe another revolution very similar to genomics we will see in proteomics. As I had mentioned before, Cygenome incubated a few companies in the genomic space and helped drive the genomic revolution in India. Now I feel that there is a lot of opportunities in proteomics and also in the next level of genomics, where we are going into single cell sequencing, and in proteomics developing many new diagnostic tests and understanding the role these proteins play. And Cygenome wants to now create more companies, so we will work as an incubator, and instead of me personally creating these companies, which I did in the first wave of or we call it Cygenome 1.0, and now in the future what we are calling is Cygenome 2.0, when our focus will be more in creating an ecosystem which will have a PhD program, an industry oriented PhD program, which will have a fund which will fund so many of these startup companies focusing on these new technologies, and the solutions being provided for healthcare, in microbiome and in various diseases like cancer, autoimmune diseases, etc. The future looks very exciting for anybody involved in the bioeconomy. We all saw what industrialization did in the previous century and helped the growth of our society. But at the same time, that created so many problems as pollution, as environmental degradation. Now even we are so worried about climate warming and other pollutions like plastics, all that. Now bioeconomy, in addition to creating the jobs, will also create solutions for fixing many of this. So we can now understand what microbes are being affected in the soil because of the use of our fertilizers. We can make them better, we can make better crops, we can come up with better medicines, we can use various new approaches of biomanufacturing using synthetic biology and reduce the stress and the pressure on the environment which the previous wave of growth or previous growth wave has created.